Hello, good morning and welcome to News Desk. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We're streaming across all our social media platforms. We're Joe News on TV. Coming up this morning, Ghana risks being dragged to the International Court of Justice as her High Commission in London owes over £5 million in congestion charges. Stay for details. Also in this bulletin, former Member of Parliament for Kumbungu constituency Ras Mubarak takes on the office of the Special Prosecutor for alleging over 2.8 million cedis has been paid to ghost workers in a non-existent primary school at Kumbungu district in the northern region. We'll hear from the former MP who confirms the school has been operational for decades. And later in our filter exhibition, traders and residents living around Kwame Nkrumah Circle demand placement of dustbins at vantage points to avoid indiscriminate littering.
This place, people choose to throw rubbish anywhere and anyhow. So we need dustbins so that people will find it difficult throwing rubbish on the floor.
Thanks for choosing us. We're your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Let's settle now for details. Ghana High Commission in London owes city authorities over £5 million in congestion charges. Well, the congestion charge is a road toll that is paid by diplomats who drive through a certain square mile of the City of London. Well, despite communication from the UK government that the congestion charge is a service fee and not a tax, several embassies in London continue to amass significant debts, totaling millions of pounds. Leading the list is the American Embassy, with an outstanding debt of £14.6 million, followed by the embassies of Japan and India owing £10.1 million and £8.6 million, respectively. Well, joining me to understand the issues is George Business's George Riafe. George, first of all, let's understand this congestion charge and how it is accumulated.
So, London is a city where you have a lot of vehicles moving around, and as part of the mayor's plan to try and decongest the city, they tried to put in this charge or fee for vehicles that move in the city between 7 to like 6 p.m. So irrespective of whoever you are, you're supposed to pay this congestion fee when you drive within the London city. And that is a tax of around £15, if I stand to be corrected, that you're supposed to be paying for this charge when you move within that city. So that is basically the understanding when it comes to this charge. And for any vehicle that actually moves within the city, you're supposed to pay this fee, or call it the service charge.
So we owe £5 million, more than that actually. Over what period?
So this is for the year 2023, and this is not just a Ghana specific. These are, and the argument here is that when you are a diplomat, and I stand to be corrected, you're not supposed to pay taxes because of maybe an agreement between your other sister countries and all the rest. So you are exempted from paying taxes in your host country. The London Transport, or the Mayor's Office in London, believes that this is not a tax, it's a service charge. Therefore, whether you are a diplomat or not, you're supposed to pay. With the exception of those who are exempted from paying this fee, they think that the diplomats in London are supposed to pay these taxes. And that is why they insist that they would move to every extent to ensure that all these diplomats pay this tax. And if you look at the diagram, I mean, you have America, you have Japan, you have India, you have Nigeria, you have China, you have Russia, Poland, and then Ghana. That is a little over £5 million for the full year. So any vehicle that is classified, and because of how the systems are registered in London, they know the owners of these vehicles. Any vehicle that is tracked as the embassy or the High Commission of Ghana in London, from the councillor to the staff that are moving within the city within this time, that is what has summed up to this £5 million for the full year in 2023.
Interesting. Now, for Ghana to be owing this much, it's quite worrying, and they're already threatening international sanctions, isn't it?
You're right on that one, and I have also been able to engage persons close to the High Commission. For statement of fact, they joined the other High Commission or embassies in London, classifying this as a tax. And that is why they have registered the opposition collectively, insisting that they would not pay. Again, we also understand that as far as they are concerned as the High Commission, there hasn't been any service charge officially forwarded to them that they will even have to pay for it. So the argument is that for them, they see this as not being fair because the government of UK has to present an official service charge to them. And as far as they are concerned, there hasn't been any service charge that has been officially tabled to them for them to pay as we speak right now. So they find this reportage from the London Transport very interesting because as far as they are concerned, they cannot even independently assess how much Ghana owes to the transport authorities when it comes to this particular service charge, when it comes to this congestion service charge. They say it's not a tax.
Yeah, but based on the London Transport Ministry, their breakdown of the figures we owe, clearly they have the data. Are there other vehicles exempted? Because we know that the service charge are for vehicles driving within a certain mile of London. Are there vehicles exempted?
There have been instances where certain vehicles, depending on the work being carried out, are exempted. But as far as they are concerned, when it comes to this particular service charge, the diplomats are not exempted because they think that the diplomats are only exempted when it comes to the payment of a fee that is classified as a tax. But as we speak here, they don't see this service charge as a tax. That is why they are insisting that they will do everything that they have to do to ensure that every person that's supposed to pay this tax or the service fee pays it.
Thank you so much, George. We are faced with our Joy Business team giving us details about how much the government of Ghana is owing the City of London. Let's bring in an international relations expert, Dr. Ishmael Hovo, to give us a better understanding because the UK authorities are actively seeking to recover these fees and related penalties, and they're even considering escalating the issue to the International Court of Justice. Should we be worried?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. I think that for now, there's no cause for worry because it's a matter of disagreement as to whether these charges are taxes or service charges. If it's a service charge, then the Ghanaian High Commission in London will have been presented with the service charges, and so then they can look at it. But as of now, they have not received any charges for service that they will attend to. And of course, as you can see, there are other major players who are also not comfortable with the charges. So it's a matter of either it constitutes a tax or it constitutes a service charge. If it's a service charge, then of course we'll be liable to pay. And of course, once there's disagreement, of course, they go to the international court to seek clarification. So there you may have the chance to either defend your position why you think it's a tax or not. So it's a normal process in diplomacy where countries do disagree with what actually a particular payment is. Once this one is in dispute, of course, some countries are paying. Those who believe that it's not a tax, they are paying. Those who believe that it's not a tax, they are refusing to pay. So it's just a matter of a small disagreement between the London authorities and some embassies, including the United States, China, India, Nigeria, all these other countries from your graph, of course, are owing more than Ghana. And so these countries are basically seeking to ensure that what is being presented as a service charge, they believe that it's a tax. So the London authorities are also within their right to go to the international court to seek clarification and to enforce what they think is a service charge.
Now, for us, would there be implications with our international relations with them if we decide that indeed we are not paying the service charge? Because our sources, we've been working our sources, and they tell us that they don't see this as a charge that ought to be charged diplomats.
Yes, of course, there is no cause for worry because Ghana-UK relations are quite stable and strong. And of course, disagreements are normal part of diplomatic relations. So they may want to put certain pressures on you to pay. But at the end of the day, they themselves have taken the option of going to the international court. So that is even better, so that when they get there, the issue can be resolved peacefully. So I don't think that there is any implication for our relation with the UK. Countries will always have disagreement as to some of these issues, and they will have to settle it either diplomatically or through the international institutions as we have them. So you don't get worried because they threaten to go to the international court. Well, what it means is that then you have the chance to present your case as to why you think it is not a service charge, that it is a tax. And in this case, they are not going to send Ghana alone to the court. They are going to send all these other countries, and then the court will have to determine if this is a service charge that diplomats are supposed to pay, or it falls under the tax exemptions that the various countries grant diplomats under the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations.
As an international relations expert, what do you think our push should be as a country at this point in time?
Well, the best is to act with the other embassies. Since we have also said that it's a tax, then we have to work closely with the other embassies. Of course, you want to see the list, countries like the US, China, they have more diplomatic clout, and so we need to work closely with them to get to a peaceful resolution. Of course, we can also go behind the scenes. I try to see how we get exception from this stance for our diplomats, because that's quite a huge amount of money. Then if we come to a point where we realize that maybe it's actually a service charge that we need to pay, then we may have to enter negotiations with them to look at the terms of payment, because they are also adding penalties and so forth, and so you can engage them directly. That is if you decide to pay. But as another, the best option is to act in consent with the other nations that have said that it's a tax, and therefore diplomats are not eligible to pay it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishmael Hovo. He's an international relations expert joining us here on Newstex. I still have George Riafe with me in the studio. George.
One quick one. This is not just for last year. If you go through the data from 2003 to 2023, that spans over 20 years. So all vehicles that indeed are classified as the High Commissioner's vehicles, official duty vehicles that have been used from 2003 to 2023, that is the total charge that they are leveling on the High Commission to Ghana. Again, let me put it on record that we've tried to engage persons that are close to the High Commission in London, and as far as they are concerned, ending last year, they have not received any official notice from the Transport Agency or the UK government with respect to this charge that they are supposed to pay. And for them, that did not even open any door for any negotiations, but they still insist that joining the other embassies and High Commission in London, this is a tax and they are not supposed to pay.
Thank you so much, George Riafe. I'm sure we'll be getting more information in subsequent bulletins. Let's do some other stories now. In spite of the widespread criticism, President Akufo-Addo has been defending his track record in every aspect of governance, insisting it is one that is unmatched and makes him proud. While swearing in his new ministers and deputies, he listed the various sectors of the economy and touted his record while admonishing his new appointees to build upon the work done so far.
I'm exceedingly proud of my record in office and the considerable achievements that have been recorded in all sectors of national life these last 7.5 years, one or two of which have been very difficult as a result of global developments. Whether it is in the management of the national economy, in education, healthcare, roads, railways, digitalization, infrastructural development, agricultural and industrial transformation, the protection of Ghana's territorial integrity and security, the fight against corruption, the battle against environmental degradation, the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, entrenching the tenets of good governance and the rule of law, contributing to the attainment of regional and continental integration and unity, being at the forefront of the growing demand for the reform of global governance institutions, or in advocating respect for international law and multilateralism. The record is there for all to see. And I believe it is one which in all humility is at the least the equal of any in the history of the Fourth Republic. I can say in all good conscience that I have not betrayed the mandates the good people of Ghana conferred on me.
Well, in a surprising twist, recent investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor has come under fire for inaccuracies. The OSP and the Controller Accountant General's Department joint investigation revealed that over 2.8 million cedis has been paid to ghost workers in the fictitious primary school at Kumbungu district in the northern region. But contrary to claims that the Kumbungu DA primary school is non-existent, locals, including a resident former member of Parliament Ras Mubarak, says that the school has been operational for decades. He joins us live with more. Before I go to him, let me zero in on the exact point that the OSP made. It's actually in the third paragraph. It says a staggering amount of 2,854,144 cedis, 80 pesos, was identified as unearned monthly salaries attributed to individuals who were deceased, retired, no longer in their positions, flagged as missing, or whose whereabouts were unknown, commonly referred to as ghost names. Now, in the paragraph that precedes this, it says that the OSP and the Controller Accountant General's Department observed that the payroll system in the northern region, covering educational institutions under the Ghana Education Service and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, only is attended to by an alarming number of unauthorized and inactive validators. In one instance, it was discovered that a primary school in the Kumbungu district of the Ghana Education Service did not exist at all. And Ras Mubarak is actually disputing this claim. He's former MP for the area, and he joins us live. You tell us that you have donated to this school since 2015. Shocking, isn't it?
It's quite astounding, I must tell you. And let me start by saying that Kumbungu is the only constituency in the history of Ghana that has produced two running mates in 1992 and 2004, and it's given the country the first governor of the Bank of Ghana. You know, so it's natural that when there are reports of there are negative reports about the Kumbungu, all of us who are from the constituency or district will take keen interest, especially so when I am a former member of parliament and, more importantly, as a royal of the community. Now, the DA primary school has been in existence, if I'm not mistaken, for over 3 decades, you know, and I was very, very shocked to have heard on the radio last night that the special prosecutor had flagged the DA primary school as one of those that is non-existent. Now, interestingly, this morning, the Office of the Special Prosecutor contacted me when I raised this issue on social media, and their explanation is that indeed it is not a Kumbungu DA primary school they were referring to, which is a school that has been in existence for several decades, but a different school, you know, whose name has been cloned, you know, and they explained to me that for the purposes of the investigations and in order not to hamper the investigations, they would not want to put out the name of the particular institution they were referring to. But I found that a bit, you know, strange, because that would obviously, you know, send people guessing and wondering why the OSP would not do the right thing in naming the school that, you know, has been taking ghost names. I mean, this is an issue that all of us would have to work tirelessly to eliminate. The issue of a few people taking it upon themselves, you know, to steal from the public coffers, you know. So it's a very, very serious issue. And if it were happening in my constituency, trust me, I'll be the first, to support any efforts to make sure that those who are responsible for bringing the name of Kumbungu into public ridicule would be brought to justice. But given the explanation of the OSP that they have had instances where their investigations are hampered or hindered, they are keeping the name of the school close to their chests.
This is shocking. I'll let my producer pull up that statement again, because the statement was clear. They made mention of the school. They made mention of the fact that it was non-existent, which is the statement the OSP put out. And so it's worrying that all of a sudden they're saying that school involved in this, the name has actually been withheld. Isn't it?
It is indeed, surprising. Now, if you look at the statement that the OSP released, and I don't know which one you're referring to, but from the one that I saw last night,
the one we just read right now, I'll let my producer put that on air so that, because the statement is clear, except if the OSP is telling us that what they put out for the public to consume is inaccurate. It is one thing to say that this school is not existent. It's another thing to say that we discovered a school that is existing, but we're retrieving the name of that school, and that statement is on air. So please hold for me, Honorable. Let me look through this statement. It says, the OSP observed that the payroll system in the northern region, covering educational institutions under the Ghana Education Service and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, only is attended to by an alarming number of unauthorized and inactive validators. And it ends there. It goes on to say, in one instance, so he's giving specifics here, it was discovered that a primary school in the Kumbungu district of the Ghana Education Service did not exist at all. So is it the case? Well, explain to me. Well, because you have been speaking to them, so we need clarity as to what they mean.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor has a very good PR team that could best, answer questions relating to the office. But as far as this particular issue is concerned, they mentioned Kumbung specifically, and from what I heard over the news last night, reference was made to Kumbungu DA Primary School. Now, I do not see that in the statement of the OSP. When they called me this morning, when the office reached out to me, I asked them specifically, so if you are disputing the fact that Kumbungu DA Primary School is not the school in reference, what is holding you from, putting out the name of the school that did this injustice to the taxpayers of our country? The officer who called me explained to me that, one, they were in court, two, several people had been arrested, and, they simply did not want to hamper the investigations, for which reason they are not putting out the school. But he did tell me in confidence, a name of a school in my constituency which had been cloned, so you have an instance where, for instance, my name is Ras Mubarak. I spell my name with R-A-K. Somebody would spell it with R-I-C-K. So in the instance of that particular school that was cloned, it was just the name, the spelling of the name that was tinkered with, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, for the benefit of the public, and in order to allay the fear and the worry and the agitation, and the anxiety that has greeted, people from Kumbungu, it would just be fair that along the line, the OSP will put out the name of this particular institution that somebody had, falsely claimed salaries that were not earned from. Now, the other thing is, because I told the officer that called me from the OSP office that, look, even if you're not interested in putting out the name of the school, at least somebody had validated the names, because a ghost could not have validated ghost names. You need a real human being to do the validation. So at least for the benefit of the Ghanaian public, because the Office of the Special Prosecutor is answerable, to the Ghanaian citizens, it is important that they put the name of the person who may have validated ghost names onto the payroll, that runs into hundreds of thousands of, public money.
Thank you so much, Ras Mubarak, former MP for Mbungu, there, giving us details about his conversation with the OSP. The OSP has clarified that, indeed, that this area that they are referring to is an area in the Kumbungu district. However, Kumbungu DA Primary School is not the school they are referring to. They also say they have withdrawn the name of the school in question. Ras Mubarak there is calling that the OSP put out the name of the school so that we can work our sources and go to the location to see if indeed this school is non-existent. And that on your screens now is just like a wrap of the total work that the OSP has done. I'll take you to the next slide, because the next slide gives us a background to the number of sample size that the OSP worked with. So they sampled high-risk persons, which is 1,265. They cleared 1,020, and they found 255 ghost names. And amount saved from this monthly is 2.85 cedis, and yearly that is 34.24 cedis. So it's a breakdown of the sample size the OSP worked with, and I'm sure moving forward in subsequent bulletins we'll try to reach our sources to see if the Office of the Special Prosecutor will be willing to share details with us. Now let's do other stories now. The National Commission for Civic Education, NCC, says persons who campaign for votes on the basis of religion are nation wreckers who must be rejected outright by electorate. While speaking at the launch of the Inter-Party Dialogue Committee, NCC Commissioner Kathleen Addy warned that campaigns along religious and ethnic lines could destabilize the country as Ghana heads for the crucial 2024 election. She insists such person must be voted against.
We are also paying close attention to religious intolerance and ethnic-based campaigns that are divisive and that do not augur well for us. The ethnic-based campaigns are something that we see popping up during most elections. It's a very unhealthy practice, and we hope that as time goes on, as we deepen and mature in our democracy, we will see less and less of that. In fact, it is our hope that the nearly 1 million new voters that will vote this year will not continue the practice of old of voting along ethnic lines. The other thing is religious intolerance, which is a new threat that we are dealing with as a country. It is a very dangerous development that now people want to couch messages in terms of religion, why one person should vote for one type of religion or another person should not vote for one type of religion. Let me reinstate here that when political actors come to you and say that vote for me on the basis of this religion or don't vote for somebody else on the basis of that religion, you must know that they do not have your interest at heart. Because we know that in countries where there are divisions along religious lines, there's never peace and harmony. Here in Ghana, we are fortunate. We have not had that problem in the past. And let this year not be the year that we start to create further divisiveness on the basis of religion.
King Addy also explains the phenomenon of vote buying is a ticking time bomb, warning if the country does not rally to end the practice, it sets a dangerous trend for the country's democracy.
One which is so critical is the demand and supply of money in election campaigns, in the political campaigns. This year, we are seeing more and more of that. It is worrying, it is disturbing, and it is a very negative development and very unfortunate. As we grow in our democracy, we should be getting stronger the democratic culture should be better rooted and ingrained. We should move away from negative things. But when it comes to money and politics, it looks like the more we mature in the democracy, the more we make it about money. This is completely wrong. And if it was just something that was wrong, maybe we could just have a discussion about it. But this is something that is actually very dangerous, because the money that is shared, you have no idea where it comes from. But I can assure you that it is never free money. It is money that came from some place, and it will definitely go back to that place with interest. Let us stop making demands for money from political actors, so that when they win, we can hold them properly accountable on the things that are important to us. We want to see development in education, in health, in infrastructure. We want to see a reduction in corruption. We want to see a deepening of civic culture. We want to see better and upright citizens. So if these are the things we want to see, then we should not be demanding money of people coming to, people putting themselves out to be elected.
Meanwhile, spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Karimi Al-Shaibu, has been cautioning the media against allowing intemperate language on the airways.
We rely on you so much. If somebody comes to your media house and is using, or excuse my language, he speaks in a very reckless manner without thinking about the implication of, one, the content of what he says, and two, the tone of the discussions, then you must be those who keep that discussion under control. Media discussions must be so healthy and seen as an opportunity to make an exchange in how we put ideas together and help us in a way as to really arrive at a choice of the best that is good for our country. And I think that she has made those points very, very clear to us. If you do not help us to do so, then you help us to break our country. We have only one Ghana. Anytime there is conflict, there is war, and we all run away and we cross the borders of Ghana, we lose the respectability of our identity. Over there, we are called what? If I was in the classroom, I would ask you a question. Over there, we are called what? Can you all answer me? Refugees.
The youth of Beaufort tribe in the Gonja land are urging government to intervene immediately to prevent a potential conflict in the Saula Tuna Kalwa district of the region. The Security Council has meanwhile confirmed to Joy News there is tension in the area and they are working around the clock to prevent a full conflict.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kongura Junkrege Affairs has systematically been subjecting the Beaufort people in the traditional area to inhumane treatment, including exploitation, extortion, and physical attacks on them. In short, the Kongura has been treating the Beaufort people as though they are a second-rated human beings. And this must be repudiated by all well-meaning people, since these acts are not only obsolete and barbaric, but also have the highest risk of provoking open communal hostilities. The Kongura has, to a greater extent, tried to curtail the rights and freedoms of the Beaufort people in the traditional area by restricting their right to self-development, arbitrary taxation, and extortion, among others. These acts of the Kongura and his assigns, more often than not, end up in physical attacks on the Beauforts anytime they are unable to meet their demands or resisted it.
Thankfully, the head of Dissect and the district chief executive for the area, Jacob, joins us now for more. Thank you so much for your time, Jacob Dumakwe. Now, these claims are quite serious. What have you picked up in your independent checks?
Hello?
Yes, very loud and clear, I can hear you. I'm asking what you picked up in your independent checks.
What I picked up in my...
The independent checks, please.
No, actually, this petition was addressed to me as the district chief executive. Hello? Yeah, it was addressed to me as the district chief executive.
Yes.
But I cannot confirm whether what is put in the petition is actually what is happening. That one I cannot independently confirm. But what I do know is that just last week Wednesday, I got a call from the brief administration that they were being invited to Congress and meet. So they wanted to find out from me whether they go or not to go. So after I consulted my DNI officer in the district, we agreed that they attend the meeting, but comfort themselves when they get there. So the meeting was on Friday, just Friday that passed. And I was in the office when I got a text message from one of those at the meeting grounds that they were beaten and taken foot, and they needed to rest. So I sent the police for their I used that myself where the meeting was taking place.
You'd have to position rightly for me because I'm losing you intermittently.
Hello?
You have to position rightly for me because I'm losing you intermittently whilst you're making your point. So now, what are you doing to help the situation? Because you had a dissect in that area. There are concerns about brewing conflict. What are you doing on the ground to ensure that this doesn't become a reality?
Yeah, what happened is that on Friday, I had to go with the police to the Congress Palace to hear his side of the story and also to calm him down. But yesterday, we had a dissect meeting. And after the dissect meeting, the whole team went to meet the Congress at Jindabo where he resides. We had a lengthy discussion with him. He made his points, his position clear to us, and we also made our position clear to him that we needed peace in the area and that he could help us to maintain peace in the area for development to strive. And then the next line of action is also to meet the leadership of the Bilko, and then for either to connect, where we would get on them, try to respect the chapters, and then let's prepare the matters the regional council handle.
Thank you so much for your time here on Newstex. Now, provide rubbish bins and discipline those who don't comply. That's the resounding tone of residents, traders, and passerbys at the heart of Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where filth is not a strange element at all. They tell Joy News they do their best to sweep and clean gutters, but lack of bins make it very difficult for them to keep the place clean. There's more in our episode of Filth Exhibition, followed by Hannah Odami.
The verdict of these residents and traders at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle is a sum of many others Joy News spoke to. Yes, they are aware of the filth in which they live and sell, but the solution, according to them, lies in the authorities who have to provide them with rubbish bins.
Circle property had the intimate friend say,
this place, people choose to throw rubbish anywhere and anyhow. So we need dustbins so that people will find it difficult throwing rubbish on the floor. Just look at how nasty it is to see the heaps of rubbish in the middle of the road. The people from AMA sweep the area, but how the rubbish is collected is not the best. Rubbish containers are needed to keep all garbage collected. Just see how people throw rubbish on the floor just because there is no dustbin.
As an average joint to be a more baller container. Oh, baller go on, Omuyan Bessa, as a Messa, and we're very pretty baby.
Even after collection, the nauseating stench that fills the air in the immediate surrounding is not befitting for a city center. Reason why some are calling for stringent measures to deal with persons who litter the area.
When it rains, you can't even pass by this area because you will see how the rainwater will expose the littered rubbish all over, and the stench from the gutted rubbish is overpowering. I suggest that the policemen stationed under the bridge discipline those who throw rubbish away carelessly.
Government to try for it because everywhere is dirty. When you go to even Accra, Sepuye, I cannot even mention some many places. You see, they are dirty. Maybe just be organized. The Zoom Lion, they should be packing it early so that everywhere will be clean. Because when you are using the odor, it can give you some bad cholera or disease. But you know, government should just try to put people around so that there will be monitor everywhere. And people too, they should give people warning. They should not put Ebola inside the gutter or the environment. They should keep everywhere clean.
Whilst they wait for governments, perhaps they can take a cue from their fellow traders right opposite them, who have devised a strategy to keep their surroundings clean.
We are a group of traders who have chosen to keep our environment clean. We don't rely on government at all to keep our environment clean. And when we get in of our members flouting the rules, we punish the person to ensure that everyone complies.
You're still watching News Desk with me, Faustina Safo. We're taking a quick breather. We'll be back with business, to stay tuned in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Gordon Awandari, is making a strong case to adopt workable policies and research-based approaches to bridge the current gap between industry and academia. According to him, this strategy will aid students who go out of the university better appreciate the rudiments of the job market as well as the practicalities of the course of study. He spoke to Joy Business at the Achieving Show for Entrepreneurs.
The event, organized by Bright and Millicent Adoboy, was to give back to the School of Physical and Mathematical Science at the University of Ghana. Professor Wandari underscored the need to enhance students' understanding with invaluable insight and practical experience related to their field of study.
In the current economic situation, and basically, this is something that's going to be, it's going to take a while for us to industrialize into enough that there will be sufficient jobs for everyone. So that's why entrepreneurship is so important. So as a university, we're trying to empower our students to have that option of going into entrepreneurship, which not only creates employment for themselves, but it also creates employment for others. So it amplifies the effect. So this is something that we have now made integral to our training in the university.
Co-founder for Achiever Foods, Millicent Adoboy urged young entrepreneurs to be resilient.
This whole initiative is an impact initiative of Achiever Foods Limited, the agri business that my husband and I co-manages. We started all this because a few years back, After my university education as a food scientist, I struggled to get a job. I had to sell by the streets in Medina, by the gutters to make a living. Along the line, I took ill and almost died due to iron deficiency, anemia. And after I recovered, I was challenged to see what I can do with the ideas that I have. I told myself, if I'm not getting the job, that I need to create one. And this is the charge I want to give to every young person, woman, youth listening to me. If you are not getting a job, you need to create one because there is a job in you.
The event was under the theme Empowering the Next Gen Entrepreneurs.
Now, in order to advance digital literacy and enhance information and communication technology among its civil servants, youth, micro and small, as well as medium-skilled enterprises, the government of Grenada has signed an MOU with Suku Technologies, a full-service IT solutions firm based in Ghana. Speaking with Joy Business, the CEO of Suku Technologies, Mr. Chonam Akpelu, highlighted the significance of this partnership in achieving the operations in the Caribbean market.
The MOU establishes a framework for collaboration between the government of Grenada and Suku Technologies. The parties intend to develop a letter of intent that would bind the parties to terms for a mutually beneficial business relationship. The CEO of Suku Technologies, Chonam Akpelu, highlighted the significance of this partnership in advancing the operations into the Caribbean market.
As a Ghanaian company who is desirous of expanding to other parts of the world, we've had the opportunity last 2 years to explore the Caribbean market, and we went to Grenada among different other islands, and we realized a huge potential in providing technology services. And so we started the conversation with the government for the purposes of establishing not only our company but initiatives that will directly benefit the people of Grenada. And so we're very excited that finally the government of Grenada is happy to formally have a relationship with us for the purpose of discussing different initiatives and agreements in favor of technology for the people of Grenada. And we're very excited as a Ghanaian company to really go and explore other markets, especially the Caribbean markets. There has been a strong historical relations between Africa and the Caribbean. There is a strong belief that the Caribbean is the 6th region of Africa. Some of the services and products that we are interested in to provide in the Caribbean market includes the payment systems, and because we see that the payment environment in Africa is really growing, and so we want to be able to send payment systems there, e-commerce services, digital literacy services, and also providing our software solutions.
The MOU was signed by the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dixon Michel, on behalf of the Grenadian government, and it represents a pivotal step towards realizing a vision of a digitally inclusive Grenada.
And that's it for the segment. The news returns after the break.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, a mom's guilt is a pervasive feeling that many new mothers experience, and it can be exacerbated by insufficient maternity leave. Health professionals say policies that support extended and paid maternity leave are essential for the mental health and well-being of new mothers. This, they believe, will reduce the rate at which new mothers fall into depression after birth. In Joy News' latest documentary titled When the Mind Is Not, some mothers say that 3-month maternity leave is woefully inadequate.
At the beginning, you don't like your baby. You don't like your baby. You don't even want to be a mother. It's like, is this thing for me? And also, is this the thing that is so hyped? This wasn't really living up to my expectations.
The risk factors of mental illness can vary from hormonal changes to lack of support and a history of mental health issues.
People generally going through a lot of psychosocial stresses
We'll talk about psychosocial stresses. I mean, finances is a psychosocial stressor. Marital problems, if you are married, is a psychosocial. Even work, your concerns about work. Am I going to lose my job? How much maternity leave am I entitled to? Will I be replaced if I go? So all these are psychosocial stresses that can trigger it.
Dealing with postpartum depression involves a combination of self-care strategies, seeking professional help, building a support network, and making lifestyle adjustments.
As a mother, if you know that you are supposed to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months, that's what the public health nurses tell us all the time. And then, yet you have to go back to work after 3 months. There's going to be so much pressure on you to make sure that the breast milk is flowing, you bond with your baby, you put everything in place before you go back to work. And mind you, at that time, still, your hormones have not returned to normal. You physically, mentally, emotionally, you're not ready for work. You can't even be productive at work. And then also, one of the things that people don't talk about is mom guilt. So you're at work and you're feeling so guilty, leaving your... The 3-month-old is barely, it's still a newborn at home under the care of who? If you don't have the right assistance, then who is it? So I believe that extending maternity leave, I feel that will play a major role in curbing some of these mental health challenges that we face.
Well, When the Mind is Not, produced by Emmanuel Givenu. The repeat airs tonight, 3:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Do make a date if you missed it yesterday. My name is Faustina. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a pleasant day as you enjoy the rest of our programs.